Thank you for tuning in to the Payton Sullivan Halftime Show, sponsored by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Call Randall or Shane anytime at 940-889-3119 for any of your insurance needs. I'm your host, Payton Sullivan, and today I'm with Coach Loyd and Coach Castilleja. How are y'all?
Good,
Good.
good,
How's
good,
it going,
good.
Peyton? Thanks for
I'm
having
giving a
us,
round of
man.
applause to Coach Castilleja. Round of applause. And you, Peyton, round of applause.
Yeah,
Round of
this is
applause.
awesome. I'm glad you're doing this. This is like,
Thanks for having us on the
Of
show.
course. So we'll start out with the game today in less than 6 hours?
It's
Less
close.
than
oh,
six
it's
hours
close.
against Quanah.
Close.
Last week, tough loss to Albany. Bounce back. Can't say kick their, but say kick their butt, kick Quanah's butt. So,
Yeah, we're gonna get after it. The boys had a good week of practice. I'm very excited about it.
so we're actually you used to play football for Loyd, right?
I did.
How
I
is it?
did.
How is that compared to how it is now?
You see, like, and I know everyone on the field, they see, like, the outward, the expressions of Coach Loyd. What they don't see a lot is what happens in the locker room, right? Where he's always loving on us and, he's always got our back and he's always talking to us like we're men because we are, Same thing with you, with all the guys, they're young men becoming older men. So I always thought like having Coach Loyd as a model, kind of that guy that takes care of business was a big thing for us.
Yeah. So Coach,
I appreciate that, my friend. My friend, this is we've been through some battles together.
We've been through a lot of
some
battles.
battles together.
that's what I was fixed to ask. What do you think of Coach Garcia when he played football
Man,
for you?
you know what? He was solid as gold, man. He was not only tough, okay, he was smart. He was a leader. He was in his class had a good brotherhood, camaraderie, and man, it was fun to coach him. And they really came together mid-season or a couple. We had a loss or whatever, and they came together senior year. But the his junior year, we were 2-8.
It was a rough year.
2-8.
It was a rough year.
Yeah, 2-8, and then with four seniors, and then
Mhm.
all the seniors ended up leaving.
Yes.
That was Coach Farmer's first year as AD head football coach. My first year too, and then we had a pretty aggressive spring.
It was an aggressive spring. We were in the weight room every day.
Yes, and but man, he was one of the main leaders of that group, and it's an absolute pleasure to be in. Adrian makes everyone better around him. You know what I mean? He makes, and that's a true leader. A true leader is someone that makes everyone better around them in some way, and that's what Adrian does every day in the office now and as a player. So
That's
it's pretty awesome.
so I was about to ask you. See, that's what I'm looking for. Like any qualities that he had when he was playing for you compared to a coach for you now. Like you see,
It's only gotten better. And he was solid as gold as a player. I mean, he was our center, okay, defensive lineman, and he was in charge of that offensive line. And when he took over as center, things started clicking. And he's first of all, he's an extremely hard worker. He's unselfish and does whatever it takes for the team. He'll never say no to anything I ask, no matter how crazy it is. And sometimes I worry about working him into the ground. But he's a workhorse, and he loves the kids. He's from Seymour. I mean, people that are from Seymour, they bleed, maroon and white, and I do too. But I've been here 9 years, and even if I'm here 40 years, I'll still be a guest. You know what I mean? Like I will never be from here, even though I could be here 40 years, because there's something about being, born and bred here, and he was, and he lives and dies it, and he has a great relationship with the kids, and he's, in my opinion, he's a born leader. So having him on the staff, he makes me a better coach. I'll
yeah.
put it that way.
Um, have you seen have you noticed any changes from when he was in high school compared to like right now? About all that's going right now, you're coaching different or anything?
Me coaching my coaching style?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think,
That's
I
a
guess
good
I should.
question.
I guess I should
kinda-
ask you
Yeah,
that question.
yeah.
I think as the time has gone on, there's really not much of a difference. Kind of like, his passion's always been there. His outward emotion has always been there. And I know that some people may look at that, it's like, well, he's just off the wall. It's like, yeah, but that's what we are. We're off the wall. Like I always like to compare this to like in Seymour, you're from Seymour. There's not like we don't have kids coming from anywhere else. Like we're all homegrown. Like I love that we have to have two workout sessions because our kids got to go to work. The blue collar kids, they get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, they go lift and they go straight to work.
Yeah.
And then we need a guy like that. We need a guy that sees how hard like it is to live out here. And I'm not saying, we have obstacles that other towns don't have. But like we got kids that have to go plow the fields and go feed the cattle. So I think that's just part of us, part of Loyd. I think he sees that. I think him creating that culture, kind of embracing the hard work that it takes, to be a Seymour Panther. I think that's huge, and I think that's developed as he's been here. The culture has developed is just keep going time over time over time, where it's just like a year gets built on and there's something about KCS. I don't exactly know what that means, but that goes around. I don't know what it means, but
I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't have any idea what it is.
Check
But
the
Just
Whiteside
some
Museum
letters.
epitaphs.
I don't know. They just show up
The
places.
Whiteside Museum epitaphs.
So
Cool, sorry. I just blacked out. I just came back to
I don't know where that saying came from. I don't.
Yeah, no.
The band marches out to it. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I've never heard it before. So
No, it's a mystery. It is. It is.
No
Sorry,
outside
sorry.
history.
Yeah, I'm just Whiteside epitaphs.
you can mark an ad in for them just then. Even just
I've heard some stories.
So,
Water tower.
next question. What's your favorite like memory together, rather it being coaching together and playing for you, either one?
I think for me, I think everyone's going to expect me to say the Hamlin game, the district championship game. But I think a couple weeks before that, the Electra game, which is really not brought up a lot. And it's really kind of a forgotten game for us. Well, Loyd had to take the reins as he had to call offense and defense that night.
Oh,
Yes. And it was a huge deal. And we were like, Coach Farmer had a situation he had to take care of. Coach Loyd steps in. And now we're just like, your commander's gone. Someone's got to step up. Loyd weathered that storm and was able to pull out a gutsy win at Electra. And we're going up against some good kids like Marquise Lee and Drake Cooper. I mean, there were some guys, and I know the Hamlin game's huge and I love the Hamlin game, but that Electra game just speaks out to me a lot because it showed what he had in his tank, that he was going to lead us to a victory and we pulled one out for that Electra.
straight faces.
Yeah, no, it was I'm remembering it. It was kind of crazy because it happened in the last minute and Coach Farmer had to take care of a family emergency and of course everyone supported that and it wasn't hard with this group though. Really the hardest thing was that the amount of steps I took was like double. You know what I mean? Like that was the only thing. No, it was a gutsy win. I think we had did we have a red zone stop, a goal line stand?
It was a pick in the end zone.
Yeah, it was. But that's a great point that he made. That was a crazy game in the fact that, but this is the thing that his leadership, Adrian's leadership, Hunter Martinez's leadership, Slade Fox's leadership, those guys that were the core of that group, man, they were ready to go. They were ready to adapt and overcome and deal with adversity and. That was a crazy game, though. It was crazy to call defense and then call offense. It was, and then have an impact in special teams. So it was very, very interesting. But I would say that that's probably one of the best memories ever, too, because I couldn't even talk after. I think I was I was like crying. I was like crying, and everyone was emotional because it was a coming together point. And it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome.
No disrespect to the Hamlin game because that was a great game. That was a great game.
No hate.
We're talking about the Hamlin game for the people that don't know. Why don't y'all tell them? I've heard the story, but I bet there's people that don't know about it on there.
Well, that going in that year was supposed to be fourth place.
Fourth place in district, yeah.
And
real underdog,
good old Dave Campbell
type stuff.
Yeah, Dave Campbell's coming through. And we ended up being able to play at home against Hamlin, who was, I believe, the front runner for the district.
Yes.
It played for the district championship. No one thought we had a chance. Okay. Everyone, and it was a crazy packed game, super intense game. Hunter Martinez, I believe, takes the opening kickoff back for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It was just grit. And I think we went to two overtimes.
Was it two?
Anyways, it was over. Yeah, it was two overtimes.
Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah. And it was just a gutsy win by a bunch of Panthers that came together, that ride or die mentality that just refused to be. First of all, they refused anything to infiltrate the locker room. One, two, they refused to lose in the fact that they were going to give everything they got. And what they did is and they gave everything. And actually, Hunter Martinez actually made a defensive adjustment for me, which, at the very end of the game, and Seymour Martinez ended up making a tackle at the 6-inch line for the win. And it was pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
We thought we initially had the game won because they went for one. They kicked the PAT, and they missed it. It was wide left. We had hurt the kicker earlier in the game. He had gotten down
Yeah.
in a little KCS action, whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't know. Why
So he shanks it. Well, we get a flag for running into the center, which no one ever throws a flag on ever. And we're like, okay. So then they move 6 inches closer, and now it's time to go for it.
Yeah. So so that game, stands out because of the the intensity of it and the district championship on the line. But I would agree that Adrian brought up a game of Electra because of the fact that, man, that was like ride or die come together. Your commander in chief, Coach Farmer, which by the way he built that culture. So it was awesome. But it was the kids coming together and saying, okay, let's do this. And it was no hesitation. So.
Yeah. That season was filled with a bunch of crazy games, though. I mean,
Yes.
Petrolia were down 20 at half. We come back and win that one. The Electra game, the Hamlin game. It was a fun year.
Yeah.
The Menard game in the playoffs.
Oh, it was sick.
That was
Come out with 9 offensive linemen. Came out with 9 offensive linemen.
Oh my God.
David Watson.
I wasn't ready for that. 9 offensive linemen. I wasn't ready for that. They scored in the first drive, and then they never scored the rest of the time. I don't think. Yeah.
David Watson took a 98-97 yards to the crib.
Yeah.
So, Coach, were you the baseball coach when he was in high school?
Yeah, you can call it that. Yeah, I was a head baseball coach. I didn't know what I was doing. No, I'm just messing.
The players didn't know what they were doing.
Because I was about to say, your big sport was baseball, right?
Yeah.
Like, you were really good at baseball. From what I've seen looking at this.
I was okay.
You can brag on yourself. It's okay.
No, it's okay. I was okay.
What did you think of Coach as a baseball coach? As a football
Great.
coach?
He knew everything there was to know about the game. Like you understand when you talk to guys, when you talk to guys, you're like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. And you talk to other guys, you're like, he has no idea what he's talking about, right?
It's like when he talks to me, he knows, and then you talk to me, I'm like,
yeah, no, exactly. When I talk to you about football, you're like, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I have to go ask Loyd to check up on what you're saying.
Oh yeah, no, Loyd is awesome, and and it's crazy because baseball's a slower paced game than everything else, than basketball, than football. But Loyd found a way to make that kind of a high intensity game. And it is, baseball is a high intensity game, but we never saw it in that aspect. We saw it in the aspect of, oh, here comes another pitch. Oh, here comes another pitch. And it's just like Loyd had a way of locking us into a game where I think junior year, first year,
yeah,
baseball was kind of the turning point up going into my senior year because we had a good run in baseball. We ended up making the playoffs after going 2-8 in football. I think we only won 1 game in district in basketball that same year. I mean, making the playoffs and going to the playoffs was huge for us, like a huge momentum boost. And Loyd was at the forefront of that.
So, Coach Loyd, you coaching baseball? What did you? I mean,
I had a hard time mentally handling baseball. It's like when they warm up before the practice, like just them chatting and warming up. Like that drives my anxieties crazy. Like the voices start talking and things start getting crazy, and I'm like, man, this is time being wasted. And so I have a hard time with stuff like that. But I try. This is the thing is that as a coach, I didn't feel really comfortable coaching baseball just because of the way I'm wired in my head. I mean, I felt like I was in a cage in the dugout, so I had to like walk back and forth like 15 yards. Like
you didn't have
like
full 100 fields.
I didn't have a lot, And sometimes, man, when you're sitting there and you're like, how come this guy can't throw a strike? And you're just watching. It's like your legs bleeding out. You're like, I have a tourniquet here, but I can't put it on. What do I do? And it's just bleeding and bleeding, And then on the other side, when coaching that team, they come up with clutch hits and clutch situations. And, I definitely think it was hard on me mentally because just the way that I'm wired, but that team made it easy. And I tried to make it as fast paced as possible because I realized the more kids are standing around and chatting, the less they're getting work done and the more issues kind of come up. So I don't know if I was a good baseball coach, and I appreciate what you said. I don't know if I was, but I will say one thing: their group,
don't let him lie to you.
Their group specifically was a good opportunity. It was an awesome time to coach.
Yeah.
So
probably fixing to get close to ending this thing. Anything y'all like to say to people watching?
Thanks to Farmers, Texas
Farm Bureau Insurance.
Thanks for sponsoring this. This is awesome. Getting sponsors on this, right? Is this officially named the Sullivan Show, or is this? Have we come up with a title?
It's officially named the Payton Sullivan Show.
The Payton Sullivan Show. PS. Payton Sullivan Show. I love it.
Yeah,
this is awesome. So, is this something that you just came up with, or what?
Well, Yeah, sort of. I don't know. One day, Skylar just kind of told me, "Hey, it's your show now. Take it." I was like, "Cool. All
That's
right,
great.
let's
That's a
roll."
good idea. That's a
I
good
think you told me the day I walked in here and did my first interview. You told me, and I was like, "Oh, cool." So I just wing it now.
It's the best way to wing it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
you sound smart like me all the time, dude. You sound on point, dude. Like on it. You know.
I was sitting here. When you are talking that show question, I got to sit here and think of another question as you are talking to me.
That's the right guess to go on for
I can
next
talk,
question.
like, I can talk about anything. Like that's cool black stuff that lets our voices. You know, like I keep
Makes it-
looking around.
It
You know?
takes the sound so the echo is better.
Yeah, I know. I want a big room that's soundproof. I need AC though. You know. No, hey, and to Skylar, this is awesome, man. This is a great setup. I love the mics. I can hear myself. You know, it's great. I like hearing myself in real time.
Anything you'd like to say, Coach Castilleja?
Sullivan, thanks for having us, man. Like
course,
this is cool. I'm glad that you're like this is kind of like your niche, and I like that. Like
I let this one be out of when I was last time. Don't worry.
Hey, man, if you need to fill the airspace, man, I'm full of hot air.
yeah, I can talk about anything. Yeah.
It's awesome. And hey, and so when you're big and famous, man, you know, maybe you can have us on the show then.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I
I get
mean?
all the coaches.
Then you can
all of
introduce
them.
the world to Coach Loyd.
No, we don't want
Oh.
that. We don't need that. Just stay in the small town of Seymour. We can keep this in the small
There'd be a
town.
wanted poster on every wall.
Yeah, no,
Texas
we don't
and
know.
everywhere.
There's a reason why I'm not on Facebook. I put it that way.
You just
No,
have to
I'm
you just
joking.
have to blur the face out.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
just
yeah,
talk.
they wouldn't know the laugh
Yeah.
at all. No, but honestly, I'm proud of you, man. I'm super proud of you, man. I know that this is a passion for you, or at least a new passion for you, and man, I'm really excited about it. So anything we can do, you know,
Yes, sir.
to help you out, that's what we're here. We're here for the kids and the future, and it doesn't end with sports out of high school. You know, there's this is relationships to the end. You know, so
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to the Payton Sullivan Halftime Show, sponsored by Texas Farm Bureau, and enjoy the rest of the game.